This investment guru tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight.
Well said! Well said! Well said!
SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
Presented by National Stock Exchange. Co-powered by Purvankara, the art of development celebrating 50 years.
Good afternoon, you're with us here on the Business Today show. I'm counting down to market closing with you. This is Abha Bukaya. Let's take you through the headlines at this time. Bloodbath in IT stocks, Nifty IT index tanking over 10% in 2 sessions as AI fears grip tech investors. Meanwhile, AI company Anthropic closes a $30 billion funding round at a $380 billion valuation, more than that of the combined market cap of all 10 Indian companies in the IT index. Markets witness a sharp sell-off as the Sensex tumbles 900 points near 82,700 and the Nifty slips 300 points to around 25,500. IT and metal stocks lead the decline with AI disruption fears intensifying the pressure for a second straight session. Rafale megajet order to supercharge Make in India. Defence Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh says the 3.25 lakh crore rupee order will have 40 to 50% localization under a government-to-government deal with France. This will also be the first time that the Rafale fighter jet will be made outside of France. HUL is up 2% in trade today. Big relief for commuters and transporters. From February 15th, toll charges on partially operational expressways will be cut as the centre removes the 25% premium until corridors are fully complete. The move aims to boost usage, ease congestion on parallel highways and speed up logistics movement. Delhi gears up for the AI Impact Summit 2026 from February 16th to 20th at Bharat Mandapam, drawing the world's top tech CEOs, including Sundar Pichai, Sam Altman, and Jensen Huang. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other world leaders will also address the mega gathering. It's all about AI this week and especially today with markets, of course, tanking on the back of all those fears around AI. And just on the anvil is that mega AI summit. Global leaders will be gathering here and we'll see what insights and dialogue also come out of that, what kind of statements. Remember, Anthropic has sealed a huge fundraise, 30 billion. The Nifty IT index down 1.5% as there are genuine fears of the latest AI tools really completely wiping out some of the existing practices that exist. We've got Wipro down 2.5%. Let's pull up TCS, Infosys. Some of these saw heavy selling in the first half of the day. Let's take a look at where they're at right now. But the main pressure on the index is coming in from IT. TCS also recovering a little bit, down about 2% still, and the Nifty down over 300 points currently. HCL Tech also down about 1.5% right now. Sneha Poddar is joining us, Vice President Research Analyst B&D at Motilal Oswal. Sneha, good afternoon. Really can't take our eyes away from what's happening on the IT front. And while, of course, we've seen IT underperform overall for the past year, despite decent set of results, guidance, some amount of commentary on how they're coping with changes on the AI front, markets have just completely battered these stocks.
So see, basically, this is already this was known to the market that AI's threat is there to the overall IT services industry, and for past 2 years we have been seeing that the IT stocks have been underperforming, and now with the kind of commentaries that are coming out from the various global companies, that is kind of strengthening the pitch that the threat is for real. So there's no denying that the threat is there, but then what we believe is that this was already known to the market, but how the IT services companies will we will definitely, we have to monitor the situation over the next a year to get the exact clarity with regards to how this will disrupt the overall industry, to what extent the disruption will be there. But what we believe is that over next 3 to 6 months, when the companies finalize their budget for the next financial year, so probably at that point in time, the new deals will get announced on the AI front, and that will actually will be a key monitorable. Those would be the short cycle deals that will will start coming out. Say
So,
from
Sneha, you're not completely
2020.
giving up on the IT pack yet, because we have some segment of the market that's walking away altogether.
Both will be complementary. See, we cannot completely do away with IT services. Obviously, IT services companies will be impacted, but then, their support is required for the rollout of these AI projects. So, now how, that will happen gradually over, next few years, that we'll have to see and monitor. But I believe whatever beating down had to happen, that has happened. Further downside from here seems to be limited, because valuations now is really mouth-watering at these levels.
Right.
So, one can actually, be at least assured that from here onwards, the downside will be quite capped.
Okay, downside cap, but markets not looking particularly excited about the trajectory on some of those IT majors. We've got weakness coming in across the board, even otherwise, on names like an HUL, Eternal, Tata Steel, Power Grid. HUL is down 4.5%, Eternal's down 4.5%. HUL, of course, results impact coming in, and I'll talk you through that in just a moment. But let me also take you through some breaking that coming in on your screen. Reliance has bagged rights to Venezuelan oil, and a report says that the US has issued licenses to Reliance. Reliance can now buy Venezuelan oil directly. US is weaning India away from Russian oil, or so is the interpretation. The license covers purchase, import, and refining. Remember, any gray area really had been left around the purchase of oil and the move away from Russia. And now the latest coming in, according to reports, saying that Reliance has bagged the rights to Venezuelan oil. The US has issued a license to Reliance to buy directly, and this is seen as a move to wean India away from Russian oil. License will cover purchase, import, and refining. That's the latest coming in when it comes to crude and really where India is looking to source it from. Let's pull up RIL for you as well on your screen. It's still negative today, but this is where it's at right now in terms of the oil story. So that's the big breaking news for you at this hour. I want to come back to HUL on your screen as well. While brokerages are not entirely haven't really reversed their views on the counter, but we've seen 2 days of a downtrend following their Q3 scorecard, and even today we saw a huge amount of a rout on HUL, as you can see there on your screen. Sales were up about 6%, net profit at 6,603 crores. JM Financial has actually said add further, viewing it as a stable quarter, but clearly the markets have read it as a miss, and there was a fair amount of destocking that happened. So Sneha, just to get your view on HUL right now, is this just a seasonal trend? Why are markets kind of looking into the numbers in such a harsh manner? What's your view on HUL? Would you add at these levels?
See, overall, I mean, the numbers were okayish, but what we are actually looking into the companies are the commentary which has come out from the management. That seems to be quite positive, and thus we are actually quite bullish with regards to FI 27 growth trajectory. Moreover, if you look at their overall strategy which they have laid out, so that seems to be quite positive, and that points that the growth will rebound for them. So, I mean, though there could be some sort of pressure on the margins in the near term, but then once these strategies they start underplaying over the next few quarters, then the operational the efficiency will start kicking in, and that will start reflecting in the overall numbers. And moreover, the GST the impact of GST will become more prominent in the upcoming quarters. So we believe that the growth should pick up from here onwards. So that's what we're reading positive into the management commentary.
Okay. All right. So lots of brokerage views coming in on HUL just to run you through as well. Jefferies has retained a buy. Goldman has maintained its buy but trimmed the target price a touch. And overall, essentially, everyone's watching out for growth to pick up. So while there has been acknowledgement, for example, of its quick commerce channel, overall, looking at volumes and looking at some amount of growth momentum picking up, that really seems to be the consensus view. But as Sneha also said, it's really waiting and watching for that demand recovery, particularly post some of those moves like the GST cut. All right, more news coming in on your screen. Highway commuters and logistics operators are set to get a big relief from Feb 15th. The centre will be cutting toll on partially operational expressways, removing the 25% premium until corridors are fully complete. Let's go across to Chetan Bhatani, who's joining us with more details on what this will mean for road users and also traffic flow. Chetan?
Actually, well, yes, Abha, very clearly what it means for the consumers is that new expressways and highways that are being constructed, the consumers traveling on that, commuting that would definitely give a discount on the toll, because if, for example, if you travel Delhi to Bombay, the new expressway, you pay a whole lot of toll for the complete highway, but it's not completed yet. So the consumers would now pay less as per the distance they travel, because as per the rules amended, the government only wants you to pay how much you travel, and of course for the partially completed highway, and not for the fully expressway and for the full length of the expressway that's concerned. So yes, it's this valid across all the new highways and expressways that are being under construction, and not for the older highways that are already in process and in undergoing. But yes, a big relief for consumers who are using new highways, and this is a shift that the government really wants to enable the consumers to use the new highway, because of course it's better than infrastructure, it's better than logistics, and of course thereby reducing the logistics cost as well. So clearly a good measure. Of course the consumers would be getting about 15 to 20% relief in their daily toll purchases as well.
All right, Chetan, thanks so much for joining us with that. Now, the US President Donald Trump plans to scale back some tariffs on steel and aluminium goods. This is according to the Financial Times. With the matter, of course, officials that are familiar with the matter saying that when it comes to the Commerce Department and U.S. trade representatives, that office, they believe the tariffs are hurting consumers by raising prices for goods, including pie tins and food and drink cans. That's the latest coming in, according to the Financial Times, reporting that the U.S. President Donald Trump plans to scale back some tariffs on steel and aluminium goods. Officials in the Commerce Department and U.S. trade representatives believe that the tariffs are hurting consumers by raising prices for goods, including things like pie tins and food and drink cans. That's according to the Financial Times. Now remember, this is interesting because this was anticipated by a whole host of economists during the ongoing trade war, saying that eventually it will be U.S. consumers that are hurt the most. And clearly this is now what's coming out with trade representatives within the U.S. itself talking about how prices are now starting to hurt consumers. So an interesting turn of events, and let's see how Trump actually goes ahead and manages the tariffs on the back of this. Sneha, just counting down to close now. We're at about 22, so a few minutes to go. We're seeing, of course, a huge slip also in other names like an Eternal today. Hindalco was also looking weak for other reasons. Results and Novelis, both factors over there. But from the broader markets as well, anything that stood out to you in terms of earnings or otherwise, and that you're looking at?
Okay, see from the earnings point of view, I mean, like the some of the pharma companies declared really good set of numbers, and that's why we've seen good momentum in the overall pharma names. Like Lupin yesterday came out with good set of numbers. Ipca today has declared good numbers. Biocon numbers were weak, but then the commentary which came out from the Biocon management was pretty strong. So more or less on the pharma side, I mean, except for one or two names which I remember, wherein the numbers has not been very good. The overall sector has done really well. Today, the Siemens Energy numbers has clearly clearly stands out. The stock had was highly beaten down because of the some of the news flows around the China getting stricter, implementing stricter rules, and probably the Chinese competitors entering the Indian market. So, the stock was highly beaten down, but with the good set of numbers that has come in, we saw good momentum in that stock. Overall, from the broader market perspective, the small caps has seen good recovery in this quarter. So, compared to Q1, Q2, wherein the small caps were really underperforming, this quarter has been this was what we were actually anticipating also, that there would be some recovery in the small cap stocks in terms of the Q3 numbers, and that's what we've witnessed. So while the large cap and the mid cap, the overall profit growth was in around 10 to 15%, but for the small caps the growth has been pretty sharp, and they have recovered about 30% kind of growth we have seen across majority of the names. So that is a very positive signal for the upcoming quarters, and that gives us some sort of confidence for the overall market for the upcoming year.
All right, so some silver lining when it comes to the broader markets, according to Sneha. Well, talking about pharma, the much followed Pharma track report for January on the pharma industry shows your peak just behind Mounjaro in the blockbuster new introductions list. Now, your peak is Cipla's branded version of tirzepatide and seems to have caught the market's fancy within just 3 months of its launch. The other blockbuster introduction in the list include Wegovy, Ozempic, and Lokelma. Wegovy and Ozempic are semaglutides used for treating diabetes and now for weight loss. Lokelma is a medicine to treat high potassium levels in adults in a condition called hyperkalemia. Interestingly, the sales of these new age weight loss and anti-diabetic drugs are just limited to the big cities. The study says a deeper reach in tier 2 and tier 3 cities have accelerated momentum and expanded access for these new drugs. A greater push has also been ensured by recent price cuts by the big players in just the past few months. So that's the latest on the weight loss drugs and how some of these are actually, already jumping to the top of the charts. Whole host of new ones coming into the market. Switching track entirely. For the first time, Rafale fighter jets will be manufactured outside France, marking a major boost for India's Make in India defense push. The government-to-government deal ensures no intermediaries, full transparency, and 40 to 50% localization, along with full authority to integrate Indian weapons and systems. The induction timeline is also fast-tracked, with Rafale marine jets expected from 2028, followed by Air Force Rafales a year later. And I want to bring up HUL today because that's actually looking really good. Keep an eye also on Bharat Forge. Defense stocks are very much in focus at the moment. All right.
For the first time, Rafale aircraft will be manufactured outside France with significant levels of localization. We are seeking a minimum of 40 to 50%. I think they've already offered something close to 40%, but our intent is to take it to as close to 50 plus as possible, and we are confident that we can negotiate that. So first time Make in India Rafale outside France, backed up by a government-to-government agreement, no intermediaries, full transparency in the project itself. So Make in India, G2G, significant levels of localization, full authority to integrate Indian weapons and Indian systems. These are the sort of highlights of this program. End of the day, it also enables us to induct fighter aircraft relatively quickly, because the first of the Rafale Marines will start coming in 28, and after that, over a period of time, you will see from about 3.5 years from now, the first of these Air Force Rafales will also start coming. So hopefully, in the next from 28 onwards, we'll have a continuous stream of Rafales coming into the Air Force and the Navy and beefing up the depleting fighter strength of this country.
Now, Delhi is set to host the AI Impact Summit 2026 from February 16 to 20th at Bharat Mandapam, bringing together the biggest names in global tech and AI, from Sundar Pichai to Sam Altman and Jensen Huang. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the summit and lay ahead the path for India. Aishwarya Patil is going to be on ground. Aishwarya, this is a mega summit like no other. Global giants converging here in the capital to discuss all the current ongoing trends, insights and more. Take us through what's going to be on the agenda.
Well, next week, all of the next week, in fact, the whole reporter clan and the anchors of India Today Group as well as Business Today will be on ground at the India AI Summit from the 16th to the 20th. So AI is going to be all the news next week. As you rightly mentioned, who is coming and why this really matters, this particular AI Summit matters. First off, global tech giants are going to be there. You name it, Sundar Pichai from Google, Sam Altman, OpenAI Sam Altman, Jensen Huang, as you mentioned. There will also be some diplomatic heavyweights. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also going to be there. President Emmanuel Macron is expected at the India AI Summit as well. And some of the big industry names, Mukesh Ambani, Nandan Nilekani. We also have N. Chandrasekaran of the Tata Group. Now, there's going to be a lot of things on exhibit, but why this matters is that as of January, the India AI Summit and the investments flowing into the country, that has totaled all the way up to $70 billion, and that could even, by the conclusion of India AI Summit, that could go up to $100 billion in terms of investments to the AI ecosystem. And most importantly, last but not the least, the GPAI rules, as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, we will also be deliberating among all the stakeholders and some of these tech giants. Global partnership on artificial intelligence, ethics and rules will also be deliberated during this AI Summit. So we'll keep a track of all that and more and bring you all the updates through the India Impact AI Summit next week.
Super exciting, Aishwarya. You have a busy week ahead of you. Let's take a look at market closing now. On your screens, a closing bell ringing in. Not a great Friday. We're 350 points down on the index. 25458 is where we're closing, but definitely having recovered from where we started earlier in the day. Sensex, Nifty, we've got the broader markets, everything, actually almost everything is down about 1.5 to 2% today. So it's a sea of red all around. Nifty Bank is down 1%. IT, of course, was the one where all that heavy pressure came in, and it closed about 1.5% lower after, of course, a terrible start. We had Infi down 7-8%, TCS down 5-6% at the start of the session. So some amount of recovery coming in there. We've got financials also in the red, Pharma in the red, despite some decent earnings. But today the market overall saw extremely weak breath, and therefore a sea of red all around. Sentiment was just very poor. Reliance down 2%, despite, of course, the yes or okay on sourcing Venezuelan oil. That's news just coming in, and they've received a license for that. We had, few advances, but it was about 1:3 is really how I would put it. A lot of other stocks in the market or the broader markets also saw a huge sell-off. Perhaps the market's using the opportunity to do some profit booking. Even on the metals front, names like Hindalco, Hindustan Zinc, some of those names also sold off. More losers from the index on your screen: coal, Tata Steel, Power Grid. Some of these names, all of them saw some heavy selling coming in. And from the broader markets, while there were like a few bright spots, I think the day was definitely for the bears, and we call it profit booking, or call it an opportunity for some people to just kind of rejuggle their portfolio, or for some to really see an erosion of wealth. It was quite a messy day for markets overall. Sneha, just want to get your strategy going ahead. We've closed the week on a low note, And this is after most of the key factors are now behind us. Looking ahead, what will you be watching out for as we head into the second half of February?
Okay, as you rightly mentioned, I mean, majority of the events are now over. So what will really matter over, say, next 2 to 3 weeks would be the global factors. Now, in the global factors, obviously, the development around the AI front would be the key thing to track. Also, what would be the important would be the geopolitical events which are unfolding, like, with, for example, the Russia-Ukraine settlement, the Russia-US tie-up, all those will have major repercussions on the global markets. So these global developments would be really important because as far as the Indian, the domestic cues are concerned, we are closing the earnings season on a decent note, and the inflation number which came out was well below the RBI threshold limit. So as such, on the Indian front, there are no major concerns per se. It's largely the global factors which will actually decide the market direction going ahead. So, my sense would be the geopolitical events as they unfold, that will be the key thing to watch out for next 15 to 20 days perspective. Obviously, in the long run, the overall positive impact of the deal that the India has stuck out with various countries, the positive impact will definitely start unfolding over the next 1 year. But in the short term, the geopolitical events would likely be dictating the direction of to the market.
All right, we'll leave it there. Sneha, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll wrap there for the week, but we'll be back on Monday for a fresh trading week and hopefully some recovery buying coming in. All eyes on global factors as we move ahead. Thanks so much for watching.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
Look, this investment guru tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight.
Well said! Well said! Well said!
SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
Dear farmer brothers and sisters, Rahul Gandhi ji